can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Now, the man we're speaking to is a bit like we got Doug Hawkins on for the while the finals were on, and 4 weeks of the finals and what was going on there. But this man has been on a lot of times, but we're certainly keeping him on until November the 5th as a regular every week, because not only is he a film producer and editor and the bon vivant, the man who runs great functions when he can get a hall, who'll put them on, but he is he's known as Richard Wollstonecroft, and he's called, affectionately known on the podcast You Cannot Be Serious, as Dick from Muff, which is the Melbourne Underground Film Festival. Welcome, Dick.
Thanks, mate. Yes, that's me, and I think that's going to be on my tombstone now. Everyone started calling me that, so...
Dick from Muff. Now, I meant to do this. I've just been speaking to Tony Sheehan, so I meant to do this. Before I forget, there's a man called David. He's had Damien Vandenberg said, could I give a shout out to David, who has just had prostate cancer. I don't know if he's had his prostate out. I hope David is the person that's had his prostate out and it's not Damien. It wasn't clear in the text he sent me. I presume it's David, and Damien's asked to give David a shout out because he loves the podcast. So I'm David. If you've had your prostate out or you are having a little trouble with prostate cancer, we are giving you a shout out, mate. All the best. And if it's Damien who's got prostate and David, you've written in, you sort it out between you. We're giving you both a shout out. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, Dick, I have to do this before I forget. I'm just doing it. Just bear with me, please. This is
no trouble, mate. I've got one too.
That's good. This is from Jesus. Where did I? So I shouldn't say Jesus. Where did I write? Oh, this is from Michael Christian Menswear.com. This is for Justin Bentley. Now, Justin is either from driver in the Northern Territory or he is a driver. Mick has said, shout out to Justin Bentley, driver / Northern Territory. I don't know if he's a driver or in fact a diver. He could dive for pearls. He's either from driver, is a driver, or is a diver. He's from the Northern Territory, and Mick Christian Menswear.com wanted to say we've run out of the caps of Doug Hawkins and the ones that he's signed, the You Cannot Be Serious hats. We've run out of them, but Mick tells me he can fulfill the orders, the back orders, because he has organised an express delivery of an extra run of caps. So if you want the caps, they will be in stock, Mick assures me. So that's that's just the housekeeping. What have you got there, Dick?
We've got an exhibition coming up. He was for Frank Housen's artwork. Frank Housen was on the show about a year ago.
He was the late Frank Housen.
Yes, sadly he passed away in February of this year. It's very sad to all his friends. He was a well-known figure in the film, theatre and music scene in Melbourne. And he's doing an exhibition of his art. Obviously, friends of his are putting it on at Montsalvat, which is the venue beautiful venue out in Alton. I'm sure you've probably heard of it. And it's on from November the 13th to December the 8th. It's called The Art of Frank Housen. On the 21st of November, there is a kind of a soiree, opening night.
A soiree.
Yes. With Warren Wills is playing piano, and Frank always liked this kind of upper class stuff a little bit. Well, it's just kind of art.
So there's a soiree out at Montsalvat with a bloke playing the piano, is there?
That's correct, and you can look at Frank's art, and you can also buy some if you like.
Frank, who's the pianist?
Warren Wills.
Warren Wills, and what? There'll be a bit of dancing and boot scooting, or a bit of waltzing, or what?
Oh, yeah, there'll be a lot of drinking as well. A lot of Frank's friends like a drink. And also it's been curated by Kristen Condon. She's the one who's curated it and put it on. So that's a fun event. And if you like that kind of thing, get into it.
Yeah, no, won't be a big drug fest out there, will it, Dick? People...
I have no idea what goes on out at Montsalvat.
Yes,
no, probably not. Probably not.
No, probably not. Well, it'd be a nice, boring old show if there's not there.
Well, it might be. Who knows, mate?
No, and I'm sure that no one would be, because you're not allowed. It's illegal. You can't take
But if
recreational
it was,
drugs, so you can't do that. That's right. Mushrooms and caps and acid and coke and special K, and you can't do all that. So why are we even talking about it? Riffs and bongs and so that's good. All right, so that none of that'll be there, but there'll be a bloke playing the piano.
Yep, and whatever else, and a lot of alcohol, which always lubricates any evening.
Yes. Good, and let's hope people take their cars and drive home, because no one would be in those out of back areas. The coppers would give you a fairly broad swerve there, and you'd be able to wind your way through the mountains there, even though you've had a few.
Yeah, you could, mate.
Yeah. Anyhow, now what's going on, Dickie?
Well, look, I hate to say you're right, Sam, but you're right again that they are trying to kill him. There's been a third attempt at Donald Trump's life. This time it didn't get anywhere near as close, but they found, like, false ID on a guy and kind of all these weapons in the back of this guy's car. I mean, I think, it's maybe debatable whether he was really trying to, use them or sneak them into the event. But I think the guy who brought these weapons to the event is claiming that he's innocent. And I don't know, I guess it'll have to be looked into by the law. But they're calling a possible third assassination attempt. And that was at Coachella. My friend Darren Fishman lives over in Los Angeles, around there, and he went to the Coachella event, and obviously Trump is touring states that are normally Democrat, like California, and so the event went very well, but luckily there was no incident. But there was somebody who perhaps foolishly brought weapons. They didn't even realise that they shouldn't be doing such a thing in this very delicate environment.
Well, if they end up, I've said this, no hesitation to say this, if they do end up killing him, the opposition, whoever they might be, should seriously have a crack at taking out about 4 or 5 of the opposition. Obama, Clinton, Schumer, Maxine Waters, and Harris. They should, if Trump goes, let's just clear the lot of them out.
You're calling for that, are you, Sam?
If someone shoots Trump, I hope someone has a crack at those people.
I think it's looking good, though. I think there's a big article. That she's actually trying to woo Fox News, Kamala. She's trying to appear on Fox News soon.
And I heard the bloke. I can't remember his name, but he said to the spokesman for the Democrats, he said, why has it taken so long then? There's 26 days to go before the election. Why do you think should be on Fox News 26 days before the election?
Yep, he's getting desperate.
Because they have shit themselves. They are leaving no stone unturned to try and lie and corrupt their way into power. And I've just said this many times. She is the most unworthy pick of a person who ticked all the boxes: diversity, inclusion, equity, has no talent, no vestige of talent, was picked because she's a woman of colour and she's a woman. And silly Joe Biden is an old buffoon who's just fucked. I mean, it is pathetic.
No, it's I think it's really shown people. Obviously, in the past week, there's been some terrible, natural or possibly unnatural disasters, if you know what I mean, after what we discussed last week. Where there's been bushfires, and there's been hurricanes, and there's been tornadoes. It's like they're trying to whip up all this chaos, obviously to make voting difficult for people in the southern states.
Yes, the Rust Belt and all that. Now, so Dick, I forgot, the state government have sprung into action. A 200 bill overdrawn. It's costing us $27 million a week, I think, in interest payments or whatever. But they've sprung into action. Our old friend who used to be on this podcast called Don Scott, he banged on about this for 4 years, about potholes in the countryside and on the roads, and they have finally heeded. I told you we were ahead of the curve here. Even Don was ahead of the curve. They finally designated or allocated $950 million dollars to fix up the potholes in Victoria. So eventually little people, if they keep talking long enough, the little people like us, eventually someone will take some notice when they realise they're losing all credibility like this Victorian state government is and has been for the last 5 years.
I think you represent the silent majority, Sam. I mean, I think you and various other guests you've had on this show, speak for what a lot of normal Australians think. But obviously, like the woke media, whether it be the ABC or whether it be formerly non-woke channels like Channel 9. Channel 9 didn't used to be that way, but obviously it's gone woke recently. Channel 10's gone woke. There's nowhere that these voices can get out anymore outside of independent media like this show and many other shows in the independent media spectrum.
Ben Fordham, the great Ben Fordham, sent me a clip on ABC, the Channel 2 of the ABC, of the head of, I think it was the head of the ABC, or it might be the deputy head. They were about to interview him, and they did a welcome to country on when he got there, and he, the person interviewing him, a woman, gave a welcome to country and said it was great that we were speaking on the grounds of the Wangalong people, and this building is here because of it, and then say welcome to whoever he was, Fatty Boomba, and Fatty Boomba then gave his welcome to country. It was 7 minutes of the most cringeworthy crap you've ever heard. And you look at those people and you look into their eyes and you think, is there anything going on behind those eyes? Do they realise how virtuous and how pompous and arrogant and how stupid they look? Because they're fooling no one. They're just trying to just disperse the fact that they are genuinely mediocre people clambering to be noticed by someone, all their circle of friends who live in a little box and have no idea of the real world. That is they. That is our ABC. It's a disgrace. But, of course, if you don't watch it, it doesn't really worry you. I was sent it by the great Dr. Ben.
Yeah, Dr. Ben's great. He's obviously somebody who is part of the independent media, at least speaking, the voice of the silent majority. But, yeah, look, I mean, just think about it. In the world I'm in, of like the industry of theatre and film and music, they're always doing this, welcome to country. At a film event, you'll have, say, 10 speakers at the opening night of a film festival. You've got to go through 10 welcomes to country. Events like the Melbourne International Film Festival, the St Kilda Film Festival, it's just a wash with political correctness and nonsense.
It's a wash with wankers, mate. It's a wash with wankers. But if you don't go to them...
And we've never done it once.
You don't miss it. You don't miss it. You don't notice it if you don't go to them, and that's the way it is. Now, Dick, what else? Have we got anything else besides the American scene going on?
Well, Elon Musk has been, doing some interesting things. He's obviously had that rocket that's able to land in a harness, which is an incredible feat of.
He brought it back, and it landed in the place that it took off from.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean,
that is incredible. That is incredible.
I mean, the year is 2024, and that's what I thought we would be seeing. You know what I mean? Like, that is what I thought the future would be. And he's brought in, he's got these robots at the moment, and they're interacting with people, and they look like something from a science fiction film. And he's got this kind of self-driving bus and this new self-driving car. And actually, if you look at this film called I, Robot by an Australian filmmaker, Alex Proyas, it appears as if the design has been sort of maybe borrowed from Alex Proyas' film. Alex is a friend of mine. He was a guest at my film festival once, but he's a big filmmaker, has made Hollywood films, blah, blah, blah. And, he put something on his Facebook page saying maybe the design was borrowed a bit, but whether it was borrowed or not, it's an extraordinary achievement on behalf of Musk, who is just really creating the future. I mean, this is what we want. We don't want to be worried about diversity, equity, inclusion. We want to go to space. We want to colonize Mars, don't we, Sam?
I'm not sure why we want to do that, Dick, but I'll take that on advisement. He wants to be careful that this doesn't rebound on him too much, because the longshoremen, that is the American name for the wharfies, they shut down the wharves, and one of their demands was that there'd be no automation, there'd be no robots taking their positions, there'd be there'd be manual jobs for people, and they brought the nation to a standstill. And just because there was an election coming up, and Kamala Harris tried to negotiate with them and was just in the process of negotiating with them when Dopey Joe Biden crashed a press news briefing and took all the oxygen out of her great strategy to bring the Wharfies strike to an end. Do you reckon they're not fighting one another behind the scenes? Joe, who got skyrocketed out, just got kicked out in his ass by Kamala. Do you reckon there's not some bad blood there?
Oh, there definitely is. I mean, you can see it in much of, Biden's behaviour. He hasn't been acting. I mean, obviously, his cognitive abilities are diminished, but he can occasionally get up and say a few words.
He cannot get up and say any words unless he reads them, Dick. Anyone can do that. And nor can she. They cannot speak off the cuff, off the top of their head, unless they read it. And that is the state of where we are. They are nothing more than AI robots themselves. They are just pushed out in front of people. And did you see when the auto cue broke down with Kamala Harris, and she said she just was speechless for 2 or 3 minutes, repeating the number of some baseball player. Oh, it's 32 days till the election, and 32 was worn by bloody Michael Swanson or someone, and 32, and she had to keep repeating 32 until the auto cue came back on.
No, that's incredible, isn't it? I mean, the way, obviously Biden, to a certain extent, you can, because he does have dementia, you can almost have some level of forgiveness that he might have had some assistance with an autocue, because otherwise, how the hell is he going to put a sentence together?
Well, why would he be the president if he's got
dementia?
Why would he be the president if he's got dementia?
Oh, look, I know that. We all know that the 2020 election was a coup. If you've listened to Roseanne Barr in a recent interview with Tucker Carlson, she screamed it out to everybody. It was a coup. So in America, they've basically taken over the United States of America. So it's been essentially illegally ruled by the people who had a successful coup. And then they claimed the people who protested that on January 6th are the real terrorists, which of course they aren't. They're the people who are just calling out what was obviously gone wrong, that there had been an actual coup in the United States. So this is an unparalleled series of events we've been living in. The last 3.5 years have been disastrous for America and disastrous for the world, because America is the leader of the free world. So we're in dire straits, mate.
I keep asking you this, and I never get I don't know if I get an answer from you, but as I say, I don't have any skin in the game. But why is everyone up in arms, pardon the pun, about Israel fighting back and bombing Hezbollah and the Gaza Strip and anyone else who's in their way, when they were attacked and lost 1,300 lives and 250 hostages were taken? Why are people whinging about all the civilians and children being killed because it's a war, and the people who sanction and organise the war live amongst those communities, knowing that the universal outrage will be that you're killing children and civilians, but they don't give a stuff because they just embed themselves in those areas, hoping for the world condemnation.
How do we know that they embed themselves? We just have the Israeli point of view, that which, obviously they're now attacking Lebanon. Obviously they want to, expand this war, which I think is bad for Israel. I think being so incredibly hostile, it can create essentially a World War III kind of event in the Middle East.
So you're saying...
Hello?
Yep,
I'm here.
No, I can't hear you. So can you hear me? Yep. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So you're saying, Dick, that it's not justified, Israel fighting back?
Well, it could have a limited response. Obviously, they lost...
What would that be?
People. Well, a limited response would be to maybe kill, 5,000 people, and then, not do what they've done.
Kill 5,000 people? How do you select those people to be killed? What's happening here? I can't hear this. As I understand it, Sue, what's happened here? As I understand it, Dick, they've killed 3 of the leaders of Hamas and Hezbollah in recent bombing attacks, and they were found embedded underneath schools and various areas of sanctuary rather. They killed them because their headquarters were underground of sanctuary areas. How do you decide that you won't kill them because they're on top of they're underneath civilians and people with children? How do you decide that? And if you don't do that, then they go on unchecked.
Unchecked. Now, look, I'm not on the side of Hamas or Hezbollah. I don't support what the Arab response to what they consider to be Zionist aggression, right? So I just think the whole situation is terrible, and I don't think it would be happening if Donald Trump was president. That's one of the reasons I really hope.
Holy mackerel! Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
I can't hear a thing now. What's going on? Dick?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What's happened?
Hello?
Dick?
Yes.
Oh, I tell you, mate, I can hear you intermittently. I don't know what you said in the last 30 seconds. What did you say?
All right, I was just saying that I think the level of violence on both sides has become bad. You know what I mean?
Of course it has. It's become disgraceful, Dick. So
yeah, exactly. I think both sides are behaving badly, and I think that, now we need a president like Donald Trump who will bring peace to the region. The Arabs will be too scared to do anything if Donald Trump is president, and he's the only person who could bring the Israelis under control, right? So I think that's what we need right now. And, obviously we're only about 3 weeks away from finding out about that. So I think because of Donald Trump's support for Israel, that he will become the next president, and it will be good for Israel, and it will also be good for world peace.
I couldn't agree with you more, Dickie, and he'll go over to Iran and he'll meet the mullahs over there like he met Kim Jong-il in North Korea, and like he meets Putin and he says, they're kowtowing to terrorists. He said, always that old saying, keep your friends close to you but keep your enemies closer to you, so you can negotiate with them and have a chat to them and see if you can work something out. The only non-war president in the history of the United States.
Exactly, and that's what we need right now. And I think that is the strongest, in many ways, one of the strongest reasons why I think Trump might just get in. You know what I mean? I think there'll be enough Zionist support in the United States to, because I think it will benefit Israel tremendously if Donald Trump is the president. And obviously what's been going on in the region is not good for anybody. It's not good for the Arab world. It's not good for the Jewish world.
No, so you're saying that they go to the United Nations and every day I turn on Fox, NBC, MSNBC, I watch Al Jazeera, and they all say we must organise a ceasefire. How would you do that, do you reckon? How would a ceasefire come about? What would that solve?
Well, look, I think, Donald Trump will have to get in the middle of it. He'll have to go and talk to the Arab leaders, and he'll have to go and talk to the Jewish leaders and attempt to come to some detente between them. And he'll have to have a big stick a little bit on both sides. He'll have to say, listen, like two kids or two gangs that fight at school. It's like, listen, you're going to do the right thing or there's going to be trouble, on both sides. So I think that's the way to handle it, the firm hand.
Well, quite right, Dickie. If you got it, I must say, I usually have things to talk about, but I've just spent 8 hours on the water, got in here, and I haven't done much research. Is there anything else that you'd like to speak about that's going on?
In this wicked world of ours?
Yeah, in this wicked world called, what about Melbourne? What about the law and order? What about the police being completely hamstrung by antisocial behaviour from people murdering people outside the Flinders Street station, ramming police cars? What are the coppers doing? Why don't they take the heavy truncheons out occasionally and bring back a bit of discipline?
Exactly. I mean, it's gone to the good old days where, a copper can,
the big water cannons.
Exactly. I mean, look, Melbourne, I have a few friends who live in the city. Obviously, you live in the CBD area yourself. So, it's becoming unsafe. I nearly got killed one night when I was out late at a nightclub, and I left the 7-Eleven, and this group of sort of homeless people sort of started attacking each other, and one of them stabbed the other one. It was right next to me, literally 1 meter away from me.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is not an uncommon event in the CBD. You just see these derelicts and meth addicts lolling around in the street like deros, and it's just a terrible look.
So, Dickie, who is the front runner to be the Lord mayoral elections are coming up when? In a week or something?
I think they're coming up in a week. You know, I mean,
Are they?
I would like to. I don't know much about the local elections. You know, I mean, probably someone like Sue. Sue there with us today. She might be able to give us better advice on who is a good advice.
Sue is here, Dickie, but she can't hear anything that's going on because she's given me her headphones. Couldn't hear you before, unless you'd like to come over and speak, would you, Sue? Hang on, is that microphone on?
You asked the question to Dickie, so Dickie, you can answer it.
Well, Dickie, who do you think be likely to be the Lord Mayor, or who would you like to see? Or don't give us stuff?
Who is the incumbent?
Nick Reese is the incumbent.
I think he'll probably win, but you know, who's the most conservative? Who's the most, you know, right wing or respects freedom?
Well,
you know,
well, we've got the bloke who's stood 17 times before, called the advertising guy. What's his name? What's his name? Gary Morgan, who's a nice man. We've got Anthony Koutafidis. We've got Aaron Wood. I don't know if there's any. Is there a female standing? Sue is over there. The Greens. One of the Greens candidates is a woman. Yeah. So that's maybe. Hopefully she gets in, and we can actually have the whole city a bike track, and we can.
Exactly.
So
I do think these elections are important, Sam, because you know it's at this level of local government that they bring in all these things like, you know, bike lanes and that, you know, they close streets and they, you know, basically hamper business. So you want to vote for a candidate who is the most libertarian, who is the most right wing. So, you know, you have to really look into that. And, you know, I mean, I'm in the city of Banyule. I don't know who to vote for. For example, I've got my candidate thing in front of me, you know, for the Banyule City Council. Shaw, Callum, Mark Di Pasquale, William Rumen-Lotus, David Scott, Stephen Hurd, and Nicola Rooks. Now, I don't know which one is a Greenie or which one is Conservative, so I'd like to know. You know, if anyone out there knows, you know, maybe leave comments on the You Can't Be Serious page.
Well, absolutely, Dick. Now, let's just hope that whoever becomes the Lord Mayor allows just anyone to protest about anything, so that we can have most of the streets blocked off on a weekly basis, so no one can get about their business, get to their shops, go about their general area of expertise, because we've got the people gluing themselves to the road for fossil fuels. We've got climate change activists. We've got the CFMEU. We've got Palestine, we've got. So if we can, yeah. I'm not sure.
Enough of this,
eh?
Enough of these protests. I mean,
let's become the protest city. We used to be the most livable. Let's become the protest capital of the world. So that if you've got a gripe or you've got something, bear a grudge. Get a whole lot of your get a whole lot of your companions and friends, and see if you can block off every artery in the CBD. That should, and that'll get us some headlines around the world. Go and visit Melbourne. You can't move around, but have a look at protest about anything that you can imagine.
What would your platform be if you were running for mayor? What would your platform be, Sam?
My platform would be. We'd make a concerted attempt to catch the graffitiists and the and the litterers, and then we would try and get the homeless out of the CBD and stop them begging and threatening people and intimidating people. We'd give them some options of safe haven, some refuge, but you'd have to qualify to show you're genuinely homeless, and then we would step up law and order. We'd make it palatable to go into the city. We would get rid of most of the bike lanes. They have become a joke, and it's only the small minority. If you want people to come into the city, we wouldn't have public holidays on Grand Final Eve. How ludicrous is that? We would pare back all the entitlements and benefits that everyone gets, so that we're not broke. It's a pie in the sky stuff, but nothing will ever happen. I'd get the police to be able to administer the law under threat of not being under no threat of being asked to account for their behaviour if they are dealing with antisocial people.
Yep, I agree. Yep, I think you've got a lot of good points there. It's almost like we should have Sam Newman for mayor, mate. Melbourne, great again.
Yeah, that'd be good. Oh, well, I'd be one step up from Jeff. I think he called someone a dopey bitch, didn't he? At a rude bitch.
I love Jeff Bennett.
Fantastic.
Wasn't he a great premier? He was our last great premier.
He was one down from Trumpy.
Indeed. He was a bit of a local Trump at the time, and I met him at a film event one time, and he was a classic. I thought he was a classic.
Dick, that's it. I can't think of anything else to speak to you about, but we filled in the best part of half an hour. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I think just let's look into who are the most right wing and conservative candidates in the local elections. I don't know if there's any website. Maybe someone can leave some message about that in the comments.
Why don't you look up the candidates on their social media?
Yeah, I'll do that myself.
Yeah, that's right. Don't ask people to write it. I'm not fucking going to read them out to you. You do some research, Dickie.
That's true. Yep,
Righto, Dick. That's it. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
All the best. Bye-bye.